Hi everyone. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been a part of my journey. It means the world to me. Welcome you all to a new episode on this awesome podcast. Today we're going to be looking at the word called location. And I'm going to be using the plant analogy to further buttress the messaging for this particular episode. Sometimes past, I decided to beautify the front porch of my house with pots of plants. So I started off with one became two became three, and as at today, I currently have about 20. Now, this 20 span from a numerous species of plants. Some are identical, some totally different. Now, you'd be wondering, what does that have to do with the personal developmental journey? A lot. Now, I forgot to make mention that also, just above my front porch, at the top, I have what we call the balcony. So one day, some months passed, I decided to beautify this balcony so that it would serve for me the use in this first place. Because what I noticed is that over time, we never ever used the balcony. And I felt that if I, upgraded it, put some chairs in, put some rugs, put some, it would be something, it would make the place a lot more interesting, and hence, from time to time, we would want to use the place. So I embarked on this beautification project for the balcony. I got some chairs, a table. I got this artificial green grass lawn that we used to cover the entire floor. And then I thought to myself, if I added a couple of pots of plants from the front porch of my house, it would give it a much beautiful look. That one with nature, that green. So I decided to pick 2 pots of plant, identical species, small pots. So I took these 2 pots, and bear in mind, these 2 pots of plants were in my front porch, directly under the sun. When it rains, the rains hit them straight. When it's sunny, it hits them straight. They were just exposed to the complete forces that were required for them to continue to grow. And I might say that they had grown to a very nice and beautiful stage in their development. Now I moved these plants to the balcony, put one on my left, put one on my right. Trust me, immediately I put them in, it just transformed the visuals of this balcony. And that was really what I was truly after, to upgrade the balcony so that hence we can start to use it. And having completed the project, I spoke to my wife, and before I could tell, I noticed that the upper weekend, my kids and my wife were there. She was doing her workout. Fast forward some couple other times in between, she would go there, set up her laptop and start to do some work. Sometimes we'll both go there and just talk. Sometimes I will be there, doing one activity or the other. Basically, I'd achieved my goal, which was to, get everybody's attention to using the balcony. Now, the pots of plants, on the other hand, weren't doing so good. I noticed that they started to depreciate in health and size, and in color, they started becoming brown. Some of the leaves started dropping off. When they were on my front porch, I used to water them, I used to take care of them. And I also, extended that same reach to when I had moved them to the balcony. But when I noticed these changes in the plants, I then decided to pay more attention to these plants by, making sure I never miss the day to water them, trim them, get rid of the weeds and all this, all the things that you will do if you happen to be a gardener or someone who has or takes care of their personal plants in their homes or houses. But the more I kept trying to make these plants blossom, make them, the way I brought them into the setting, they just kept depreciating. Now, I must say that the balcony, obviously, if it's a place where we're going to chill outside the house, but on top of the house, it would be exposed to the forces of nature. So hence we created a barrier that kind of shades, that creates a very lovely cool shade so that we can stay under it when it's sunny, when it's raining. It just gives us that protection to be able to enjoy our stay there. So hence the just in that space, there's not too much sunlight coming into the space, but of course you can't see it's bright and all that. So I'd gotten to a point, one of the pots had totally died out. When I mean totally died out, while the second pot was just at a third of its life. So I then decided, because at some point they started making the place look ugly, so I moved them back to where they were initially, which was at the front porch of my house. And I called the gardener the next day to help put a new plant in one of the pots that totally died out. And he then said to me to put another plant in this other pot, which was at a 1/3 of its life. And I said to him, no, don't, let's give it a chance. Let's see a week down the line, 2 weeks down the line, with proper care, if it will sprout back to health. So 1 week, it looked like it was still dying. By the second week, it just had one leaf left. And the gardener left a note and said, sir, I think we should change the plant in the pot. I don't see it growing. And I was like, then I got busy taking care of the plants. The first plant that had done the transplant was already the plant that was put into the first pot was already at the very developed stage, while the second plant I was still trying to nurture, trying to take care of. Fast forward a month down the line, the plant died out. And one day I was passing, I noticed there was one green leaf on a dried up stem. And that leaf gave me a massive jolt of hope. Fast forward 2 months down the line, several leaves, the stem had rejuvenated. There was life in the plant itself. Fast forward 3-4 months down the line, this plant had met up to the transplanted plant, second plant I had walked on. They were on the same level. You couldn't even tell the difference. Now, what does this have to do with the personal developmental journey? Location. A lot of us want to change our lives. A lot of us have come up with the ideal version of the kind of lives we want to live for ourselves. But sometimes, if you don't land, if you're not placed in an environment that would enable you flourish, an environment that will enable you grow, you will find out that you will die off, or you gradually to die off, like the plants I had moved from my front porch to my balcony. And until you go back or you find the right location, would you truly become all you have been created to be? And I know you will ask me, how do I know when I found the right location? Little positive, productive changes will continue to happen to you, and you internally would know that you are in the right place. I remain your digital influencer. I want you to join me on this content. I want you to like, share. You can never tell. Give someone, it might just make their day. And in my usual fashion, I will see us at the top. Cheers.